and my husband Ian. We started Kings Creek Station roughly 30 years ago with our 2 children at that stage, Megan and Simon. 30 years down the track, things have grown and a lot of life experiences have changed our lives.
Talking about life experiences, tell us a bit about Simon and your journey with him.
Right, well, he was a very quiet little boy. When he was growing up, I always sensed there was something, but he never knew what it was, and I never really knew what it was until he got older. And around the age of 14 or 15, I thought he could have been gay, but never asked him. I thought that was something he had to come to terms with, I suppose. Well, I suppose
the thing was, at that time, he was doing everything that all the other stockmen and so on did around here, like riding motorbikes and giving us a hand in the yards and driving trucks. And so, you know, there's no end to it. I mean, he was just capable of doing anything that anyone else could do. So, you know,
it was just, he was a very sensitive.
Yeah, very sensitive young fellow.
And he never liked contact sport. He was into his music, loved his music. So as years went on, he left here and went to Adelaide and wouldn't contact us very often. And we started to worry, and even Ian then thought there might have been something to you.
I did. I thought there was something there. Yeah, I said to Lynn, I think there's some. And of course, at the time, it devastated me because I didn't understand it. I had no idea about it whatsoever. Being, you know, living in the bush all my life. But since we've had contact with Simon and all his friends and his partner Luke and so on, I mean, the thing we look at is the fact that if Simon wasn't gay, we would never have met Luke.
Yeah.
And he's the most fantastic young man.
And how did he come out to you? Did they ring you or?
No, we rang him. Lynn rang him one night.
I rang him one night. It was fairly late, and I said, I've got something to ask you. And I thought, what if he isn't? And I've asked him, is he gay? But I think I knew. And he said, yes, I am. And he said, I was waiting for you to come down to Adelaide. And I said, well, you're still the same person, and I love you. And that was
it. Affected me more, being the big macho bushman, you know, and you know, you think, things are going to change too much, you know. What have I got here now, you know, because I'm not understanding what gay people were or anything like that.
Was it hard did you both talk about it for a while before you rang him?
No, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we spoke about it, and of course, once I found out, I was absolutely, you know, distraught, destroyed at that stage, until I went along and had some counselling and stuff like that to realise, you know, he's still our son, and he's a human being, and he's a very talented young man.
And was it hard to ask for that counselling?
It was, yeah. Lynn took me along to a, what was it?
It was Flag.
Flag. We went
Oh, P-Flag.
Yeah, P-Flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fantastic.
They were fantastic.
And from then on, things have changed. And the day that it all changed was, we went with Simon for his birthday to have a birthday lunch with him. And of course, he was very sort of he was flamboyant, but not over the top at that stage. And I thought, oh my God, what have I got here? And I really gave him a serve, and I walked away from him at the luncheon, and he went one way and we went the other, and the last vision I had of him was walking down the street on his own, and it just destroyed me to think my young fellow was walking down the street on his own. I thought, oh, what have I done? So we don't leave a stone unturned during the day. If there's something we have to discuss, we get it out and finish it that day, not next day or leave it during the night. So I rang him, and I said, Simon, I'm very sorry. I love you very much. You're my son, and you know. And next time we met, it was just as per normal then. I mean, the other thing about it is we're a very close family. I mean, you'll always find Simon will come up and hug me, and I'll go and hug him, and I hug him.
Has that changed? Were you close before?
Yes, we were, but it was we were always close. But it's even more so now. I mean, we'll walk along the streets arm in arm, me and Luke and Simon and so on, and I've got no problems with anyone.
Here in Alice Springs?
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere at all. Yeah.
And how about the community? Like obviously a lot of your neighbours are Aboriginal land. So how about your other station owners?
Look,
how do they?
There's really no problems nowadays. I mean, it would have been like that a few years ago. Say 10 years ago, life has changed a lot in 10 years. People are a lot more understanding, except for many of the older fellas. I mean, you'll never change their attitudes, but the younger people, you know, they accept what's going on. You know, it's just human nature.
And your family, how have they?
Absolutely, 100% acceptance.
Wow.
And mine, my family's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother, who is 83 now, 84,
Yeah.
and when I told her, I thought, I'm not hiding anything, and I rang them, and I told them, and she said, still my grandson, I love him.
Yeah.
And she said exactly what I said, he's still the same person.
Yeah. And so what advice would you have for other people in rural areas that have obviously going through or about to go through or just gone through the same thing? What would you say to them?
Love them exactly the same as you've always loved them. And treat them exactly the same as you've always treated them. And they're very special people.
Yep.
Very talented. Most gay people that I've ever met have got special talents, and so you know they're a special. I mean, you only need to look at what Simon can churn out in the kitchen and all that sort of thing without even being educated. He's not a chef, but he can cook as well as any chef in the country.
Yeah.
You need to look at Luke. He can do anything, you know. And most of the gay people that we've mixed with are just normal human beings.
Yeah.
And all they want is to fit in with society and have no differences. That's
acceptance.
It's acceptance that they
and
want.
Why shouldn't people be accepted for what they are? I mean,
Well, if you guys can do it in the centre of Australia, I don't think anyone's got an excuse.
There shouldn't be any rednecks in this country, and we do have some rednecks that still look upon them and call them all sorts of names and so on, but you know, they would never call them names in front of me, for instance.
I feel that people like that are really homophobic, are scared of their own sexuality.
Yep.
That's how I see it. And I'm quite, and the more I see of it, the more I'm convinced that's the cause.
We love our boys very dearly.
Yeah.